Well, plot thickens. Let's see. I guess we got several directions we can go. Oh, money! Can we go in here? We can. I see money! Oh, Seeker. Are you familiar with insects? Insects? I don't know if I'd say I'm familiar with them, but when I was little I used to like butterflies and grasshoppers. I see. Allow me to tell you something interesting about them. There's a kind of beautiful looking wasp that's found in huge landmass to the south. Glittering like a rainbow, it's similar to the jewel beetle. Wasp? That's right. This wasp preys on fat-winged insects of other species and feeds them to its larvae. But its method of hunting is a little unusual. The female clings to the head of its chosen prey and slowly inserts their stinger into its body. By doing that, they ensure their prey doesn't run away. Huh? They don't run away? What do you mean? Won't they be eaten if they don't run away? Even so, they don't run away. Apparently, the stinger is loaded with a venom that melts away the prey's sense of fear. So the prey doesn't try to escape, even though it knows it's about to be eaten. Is it really possible to erase a creature's sense of fear with a poison stinger? It's an interesting hunting strategy, isn't it? From there, the prey is led away by a wasp, eventually being gently coaxed into entering the nest of waiting larvae. It never resists, almost as if it were in a trance. For the rest of its brief remaining life, it remains in the nest, having apparently forgotten itself as the larvae begin devouring it alive. The cute little wasp children can enjoy the fresh taste of living insect flesh. Why are you telling me something so disgusting? Because your next opponent will be Vampire. And she has a special ability called Night Yokai's Embrace. It's an ability that melts away and robs all sense of fear and danger from her human prey. And all by just gently embracing them. Gah! You'll happily remain in her arms as prey while she slurps up your life. So be careful. Alright, good to know. Oh, who can just go around there, huh? I was so surprised that you could watch my dance and not have your spirit taken from you. I certainly remember it being a wonderful dance, but it's not enough to charm me. Oh my, how impudent. This might just be my imagination. I get the feeling you've got a lot of experience with these kinds of trials. Yes, he has. Zashiki in particular is toughing them up against the dancing. Huh? Are you perhaps rather accustomed to receiving the seductions of paranormal beauties? Huh? No, that's... I can't deny the truth. It really is just my imagination, isn't it? Huh? If you were accustomed to it, you wouldn't get so flustered all the time like a virgin. You passing my trial must have just been a fluke or something. You'll be unable to act for a while after being affected with the ecstasy state. Okay. Oh, a memory jewel, huh? Stare more. Certainly. Should it escape, that Kitsune may return to threaten the human world once again. Let's do it. Yes. Huh. Yes, let's... I'll do it. Huh. Fine. There's no other way. Very good. Now, put your hands over this talisman. Here we go. So they had to, I take it they had to sacrifice themselves to seal away the nine-tailed fox of this world. According to Ilias, there's a nine-tailed fox in every world. Though these are trials, getting around is actually quite easy. You can go fight the master of a domain by going straight ahead. Isn't that easy to get to, though? Yes. But your opponent will be powerful. You won't stand a chance unless you properly prepared yourself. You'll find all sorts of useful items and information on your way there, so be sure to explore before challenging them. Information gathering, huh? Speaking of which, have you seen that big mansion? Should be some books in there with information about vampires. You might find some useful information in those pages. Big mansion, huh? All this stone everywhere is rather stifling. Really? I think it looks pretty. What kind of dwellings are common for people like you in your country? It's a little hard to explain. There's lots of wooden buildings where I'm from. The roofs are usually made with a combination of soil and thatch. My, how crude. So you live in a rather impoverished country, then? Hey, you don't have to put it like that! So then what kind of place did you used to live in? A fine question. Our abodes are in the heavens themselves. Veritable places made of gold and jewels, glittering with the colors of the rainbow. Mirror-like polished stone, curtains weaved from spring water. The Gandharvas playing their celestial music that echoes through the halls. They are truly the dwellings of the chosen ones. Wow, sounds amazing! I will permit you to be as awestruck as you wish. I'd like to go see it one day. But to think you used to be so beautiful. Is there some kind of reason you're here guarding the trials inside this pot? Huh? Uh, um... Did you intentionally leave such a wonderful home to come here and assign trials to humans? Uh, well... That's exactly it! Silly old me just can't get enough of Gaia Seekers. Now come on, the trial awaits. You need to hurry along and go challenge that blood-sucking Missy. Right. She was booted out. Booted out for being too lewd, I imagine. Absara-san, do you know much about Vampire-san? I'd like some information before I face her. Oh my, are you imploring me, a celestial maiden, to share my wisdom with you? Very well, I shall tell you a little something. Thank you very much. There are legends of blood-sucking yokai known as vampires all over the world. But even among the vampires of the world, your next opponent is in a league of her own. A league of her own? That's right. Her species can entrap the hearts of humans, making them into their playthings. Whether by hypnosis, sorcery, or their charms alone. As for those humans who become their love slaves, one of two things happens to them. Either their lifeblood is steadily replaced with magic power, and they turn into a vampire of the same species as her, or they remain lifelong servants of the vampire. Until they die? Living under the influence of charm sorcery until you die. How terrifying! Yes, and she excels at seduction sorcery to control people. And not simply because she has a knack for sorcery, or rather more likely because of the power of her bloodline. Bloodline? Yes, even vampires have different levels of statuses and bloodlines. Like I said before, there are former humans among their numbers. But there are also ones that can trace their pure blood lineage back to ancient times. And the power of the magic flowing through their blood grants them special power. Special power? It's an effect like a rabbit might have, frozen in fear as a lion's gaze locks onto it. Or when a frog looks in the eyes of a snake and realizes its fate. It's the long history between vampires and humans that has continued from long ago between predator and prey. A memory flowing through your veins that shakes the very instincts within you as a human. To put it more simply, you instinctively recognize the difference in stats between you and become unable to resist. Makes sense? No way! Oh my, no need to be so upset about it. Though you'd be prostrating yourself before an overwhelmingly powerful opponent with no choice but to be exploited. The greater the power difference, the less unpleasant it feels. Huh? Though you may feel an unpleasant sense of defeat from surrendering and submitting to Vampire, she knows how to deftly change that feeling into pleasure. Into a feeling of ecstasy at serving and being exploited by the strong, for her final act is to engrave the joy of being her manservant into your mind. Even you would feel joy at submitting to her and her sisters, a joy I hope you don't end up learning firsthand. Let's see. I guess this is the mansion she's talking about. Though it's only an image reproduction of the human world, the atmosphere of this place is unpleasant. What's an image? It means this is an imaginary world, a fantasy rather than reality. Fantasy? But isn't it based on where Vampire San used to live? That means this kind of town must exist somewhere in the real world, right? Well, I can't deny that possibility. Wow, amazing! A stone town of stone walls with stone ground. It's hard to put into words, but it's got this wonderful atmosphere to it. Oh my, are you sure you have the time to be playing the tourist? Try not to forget. You're here to complete the trials, oh Seeker. I know that. But what's the harm in having a little fun?